Welcome friends to the 2023 BMW 530i xDrive review. Let's go ahead and let's start out with what's new for 2023. They basically got rid of the gesture controls, but the good news is they have now made the wireless charging pad as standard for all of the 5 Series vehicles. Before in 2022, I think they scrapped it because of chip shortage issues. Now it's just standard on all the 23s. This is the last model year of this generation 5 Series. If you like the way this looks, you like the interior with the physical climate control buttons and knobs, then I would say snag this right now. I've seen brokers advertise 530i's and 540i's at 10% off MSRP. But I will talk more about the financial side of this car towards the end of this video. Let's move on into the exterior. I really like the classic look of this 5 Series. It's got that long hood, short trunk type of look. It's nothing exciting, it's nothing that's going to blow you away, but it's just a handsome looking sedan. This particular model, the way that you see it here, it stickers for around $61,000. It's finished in this free Alpine white paint job, and you know what, I actually really like Alpine white. It suits a lot of these BMWs. It does not look cheap in any way. It's a nice bright white color. We also have here the base 18-inch wheels, and even that doesn't look completely terrible on this vehicle. So I would say if you find one at a local dealership near you with the 18-inch wheels, I would say get it because it doesn't look bad, and it's also contributing to a very smooth ride quality. And all that is great because if you haven't already seen it, the 2024 5 Series, it's not my most favorite design I've ever seen. It almost looks like a front-wheel drive type of vehicle. It looks like the BMW 2 Series at the front end, and the rear end looks like a Honda Accord. It's a very bizarre styling that the new 5 Series is going to have, and that's why I'm saying if you like what you see here, I would say get it while you can. But I would really love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below regarding the looks of this current generation 5 Series and the new model that's about to come out. With that established, let's go ahead and let's transition into this driving segment now. Okay, we have here this turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder engine pushing out 247 horsepower, 258 pounds-feet of torque. That's a great speed. This 4-cylinder is going to exceed most people's expectations. This is all you need, really. This is the exact engine that I'm going to recommend to most people, because this thing is hauling better than what those numbers would suggest. And the vehicle weighs quite a bit. It's almost 4,000 pounds. Rear-wheel drive models, they're around 3,800 pounds. And that's the other thing. If you need the xDrive, get it, because this is a phenomenal all-wheel drive system. If you live in a place of inclement weather, go ahead. But if you don't need it, save the money, get the rear-wheel drive model. The way that you see it here, this vehicle pulls really well in the city, and even out on the highway, this thing is still hauling. Like, if you're doing 70 miles an hour and you punch it, this thing will still continue to accelerate, and it's very effortless at passing people. So that's what I'm saying. For your everyday drive with everything that a normal human is going to be doing in the United States, at least, this 530i model is prevailing in just about every way, right? It's made it to the phenomenal 8-speed ZF transmission, really crispy shifts. You don't even have to drive this thing in the sport mode. Comfort mode is fine. It reacts extremely well. There's a subtle amount of, I guess, turbo lag, whatever you want to call it, initially off the line, but once everything kicks in, you're off and going, no problems. It's a really smooth powertrain. You know, this 4-cylinder, it doesn't shake, it doesn't rattle, it even sounds decent, and that's primarily why I don't mind it, and the reason why I think for most people you can even skip out on the 540i model. You know, that inline 6 is amazing. If you can afford it, go ahead, right? It's also going to come with that 48-volt mild hybrid system with the 540i. The power is incredible, and The good news about the 540i is the fuel economy is about the same as what we get with this 4-cylinder model. Okay, this is rated to get 23 city, 32 highway. It gets slightly better when you go with the rear-wheel drive models. And honestly, the 6-cylinders also get pretty much the same fuel economy in the real world. That's what I like about both of these engines, the 4s and the 6s. You can always meet and exceed their EPA estimates. And I think that's the reason why so many people like this brand, BMW. It's always exceeding what they quote on paper, right? Both in performance, acceleration, fuel economy, etc. M550i is a monster. I also recommend that to people, again, if you can afford it, for around 84 grand, a well-equipped M550 with over 500 horsepower. That's actually an amazing value proposition if you want a sports type vehicle, really powerful bruiser type machine. Go ahead and get that as well. But for the average consumer, I think this is great the way that you see it here. Other important things to talk about, of course, suspension, ride quality, all that good stuff. It's really smooth over every type of bump, small bumps, larger bumps. Again, we do have here the 18-inch wheels. When you go with the more stylish 20-inch wheels, your ride quality will suffer just a little bit more. But if you like the way that looks, go ahead, right? This is a significantly smoother driving experience compared to the BMW 3 Series I tested. That was insanely stiff. This is a much softer vehicle like one would expect. And let's see some of that handling here now. A little bit of a tire squeal. And honestly, a 3 Series does handle better than this 5. But the reality is this is still a above average vehicle in terms of capability. All right. What do I mean by that? Well, this is not the ultimate driving experience like BMW would like you to believe. This is a good driving experience. It is a capable car for everyday driving. But it's really what this is. This is a luxury car. All right. This is not really a sports sedan. Okay. If you want a sportier experience at the sacrifice of some interior space, go with the 3 Series. That's a far more sporty feeling vehicle. But again, not everyone is going to be buying this and driving it like a hooligan. There is a sense of assurity and confidence when you drive this, and that's really the only thing that matters to most people. Like when you're doing highway speeds, right? It's nice and solid. And this is the type of thing that matters to most people. When you take your everyday corners, this thing feels planted, right? Nobody's driving this 10/10ths out on the road. That's what I'm saying. For most people, this is the BMW product that I recommend. It's much softer, much more compliant than the 3 Series cars, and it's also a bit quieter and a bit smoother as well. Going back to that highway there, it's very quiet, right? Not too much wind noise, not too much tire noise either. We don't even have your double pane glass, and it's still this quiet. This is definitely that Goldilocks product in the BMW range. You really don't need to jump up to a 7 Series unless you just like the way that looks and you like the amount of rear legroom space that has to offer. Other than that, this is the perfect vehicle in the lineup, I think, if you're okay with going with the sedan. And if you're okay with the sedan, you are saving a lot of money compared to a BMW X5. Once again, I'll touch more on the financials towards the end of this video. But for right now, I think you get the point with this 530i. It is a smooth, comfortable luxury car, not necessarily a sports car. And if you're okay with that, then go ahead, purchase it, and I think you will be very satisfied with this experience. For now, let's transition over into the interior segment. Okay, now that we are stopped, let's go ahead and quickly talk about this interior space. As you can see, we have the cognac finished leather seats, and I must say they look amazing, but most importantly, these are the most comfortable Sensatec seats I have ever experienced in a BMW product. I really liked and praised the SensaFin seats that I tested in the 2023 X5, but this is as good, if not slightly better than those seats. You really do not have to pay up for the real leather options. this is great the way that you see it here. There's plenty of lumbar support. The adjustability is good. I am very pleased with the seats. The next thing to note is the Harman Kardon audio system. We do have it here with this 5 Series, but surprisingly, it doesn't really sound much different from the base audio systems that I've tested in the X5s, the 3 Series, etc. So I thought that was kind of interesting. This is not a huge upgrade, but it's not a bad thing. Those base audio systems sounded amazing, and this, I guess, sounds the same. It's not like an upgrade or anything like that, to my ear at least. You can comment below if you notice a difference, right? If you have experience with these cars. To my ear, sounds the same. Anyway, the rest of the cabin space feels solid, feels well built, but it's the same with the other BMWs as well. Even the 3 Series cars feels identical to this, so that's not a problem. The main thing is, if you like the old school BMW infotainment tech, then this is kind of your last chance at getting it, because once they redesign everything, they're going to go to that full touchscreen system, and the climate control is going to be baked into the touchscreen. If you don't like that, then definitely go with this model. We have the separate climate control buttons and switches. It is so ergonomic, so easy to use, very satisfactory. There's nothing wrong with this infotainment either. It's very quick to respond. It is a touchscreen, but you can also use this knob. The only real cons with this infotainment is it's simply stuck onto this dash here like a tablet, and many people don't like that. And also, there is no wireless Apple CarPlay or wireless Android Auto. You actually have to plug your phone in to utilize your Apple CarPlays, etc. We do have a wireless charging pad here as standard for 2023, but the problem is I have an iPhone 13 Pro Max in just a regular case, and my phone does not fit inside of this wireless charging pad. It's too small. It can't house my phone properly. So if you have a larger phone, it's not going to fit in here. But the digital gauge cluster, that looks great. And we also have a very simple heads-up display as well with this 530i. Got your automatic headlights, automatic windshield wipers, one-touch up and down windows for all 4 windows. We have a glossy finish wood veneer throughout the interior of this machine, and there's also a lot of gloss black plastic being used here, which is not cool, but fortunately it's not really smudging too much. It's mostly just showing all the dust particles. I mean, it is smudging a little bit around the buttons especially. Yeah, it's just not the best material choice. What are you going to do? A lot of car companies are doing this now. We have a regular backup camera here, which works fine. Center armrest is pitiful, really no space in there, but the glove box is pretty good though. We have a regular sunroof in here, and moving on into the back, this is definitely an improvement over the BMW 3 Series in terms of rear seating, like you would expect. So the headroom is decent, legroom is okay, but it's certainly no 7 Series. The 7 Series is a big jump in terms of rear legroom space compared to this. But that's also physically a much larger car, and it's going to be more difficult to fit a 7 Series in your garage. Adults can certainly fit here. I'm 5'11". I don't have a problem sitting behind myself, and even getting in and out isn't horrible, honestly. It's no SUV by any means. It has some vents to play with back there, but there is no separate climate control buttons or switches. The trunk space is massive. I really like that. And the most important thing is you can fold down the rear seats, and that is such a blessing. Even if you got the plug-in hybrid model, you can still fold down the rear seats. You will lose out on some trunk space, but you can still fold down the rear seats, and that's very practical. You can buy a front-wheel drive Lexus ES, and that vehicle does not allow you to fold down the rear seats. That's absolutely asinine. These rear-wheel drive vehicles will let you do that, and I really appreciate it. With all that established, let's go ahead and let's conclude. Okay, concluding thoughts on the 5 Series. I am a pretty big fan of this car. It's just a great package, if you will. You see what I'm saying? It's prestigious, it looks good, it gets really nice fuel economy. The performance is literally better than what the numbers would suggest. Interior space looks good, feels good, space isn't bad, and because you can fold down the rear seats, it makes this sedan just a little bit more practical. So I think a lot of families can appreciate this car. And because we live in this SUV crazed society, you can pick up these 5 Series cars a lot cheaper than you can purchase an X5, for instance. I mentioned in the beginning, brokers on the Lease Hacker forum were offering like 10% off MSRP on 530i's and 540i's, and that is true. And I'm actually personally partnered with one of those brokers. His name is AutoCompanion. He is the biggest broker out there in the Washington, D.C. area, but he's apparently all out of 5 Series cars. So what you can do instead is you can use his free leasing calculator in the description box, which I have linked. So use that to your advantage, run some numbers with that. Again, it's totally free to use. And that way you can enter in your zip code and everything, and you can see what the lease rates are in your area and what incentives you can potentially qualify for. If you qualify for BMW loyalty, this is a no-brainer. Definitely get it and take advantage of the loyalty credits and discounts. I mean, you're getting 10% off MSRP on a $60,000 vehicle, for example. That's like $6,000 off. If you qualify for loyalty, that's $1,500. And if you're going to lease it, that's an additional $1,500. That's $3,000 right there. Plus $6,000, you're getting $9,000 off MSRP of these vehicles. So if you can get the loyalty credits, definitely lease this vehicle. So when I ran the numbers on a vehicle like this at those discounts, if you don't qualify for loyalty and you just lease it, then you can lease this car for around $770 a month with no money down, assuming you have perfect credit. Now, if you do qualify for loyalty, you're getting this thing at like $650 or $670 a month, literally $100 cheaper per month compared to not having loyalty. That's really powerful and honestly quite affordable in this market and climate that we are living in. An X5 BMW is like over $1,000 a month, so you're saving $300 to $400 a month compared to an X5. And a 3 Series is going to lease out almost as much as this. You know, a $50,000 3 Series, that's also going to be around $700, $600 a month. So use that free leasing calculator, but again, get your expectations right. This is a luxury car, not a sports car. Heck, even a Lexus GS 350, okay, a car everyone likes to piss on, a brand that everyone likes to piss on, is sharper and more exciting to drive than this 530i. I'm not even exaggerating. That car, the Lexus, had so much more soul and character, and you can actually get that same feeling in a smaller package in the IS 350 and the IS 500. So smaller car, but a very great driving experience. These new BMWs, they're more so on the bland side, not very exciting, but you can't really complain because these are still good cars, solid, prestigious. It's just a great executive vehicle for many families. So hopefully this video was valuable to someone shopping in this segment. You know, if you appreciate the detail and all this nuanced information that I share with you that literally no other journalist or car reviewer bothers to share, if you appreciate that, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and consider purchasing some of this merchandise that I have created. You know, hats, hoodies, t-shirts, all that good stuff. I do plan on making some more designs in the future, but I thank each and every one of you for your support. I'll have my next video on the end screen here. Click on it and I will see you there.